Cameron Smith is joining us in the studio. That audio from there was obviously, you'd obviously built up to all week. You were going to break Craig Bellamy's overall try scoring in his career when he was at the Raiders. So was there banter going on during the week with that?
I reckon it might have been going on for a month or so.
Yeah, plenty. I'll tell you when it first started. It started back the week of my 400th, so Craig, we had this bit of a luncheon and a presentation, and Craig got up and was just talking about my career, and he's talking about some personal milestones and records and this and that, and he goes, one record that he doesn't hold is my try scoring record career. Well, from that day on, that's all I focused on. It wasn't about winning games for Melbourne. It wasn't about anything else, premierships, any of that. It was about getting past Craig. No, I joke. It wasn't my focus, but it was certainly in the back of my mind. And that week, I'd scored, I think I scored the previous match, or it might have been a couple of weeks prior, and levelled up with bellyache. So everyone knew I needed one more. So that, if you go back and look, part of that vision was, there was a bit going on, loose ball. I towed it through, grounded it, but the referee just needed to check what had actually happened. But in that time when the bunker was looking at it, the whole team we were huddled around in anticipation. And as soon as the green light come up, we just turned to bellyache and we're all yes. And then that's when he flipped the bird at me. He copped a little phone call actually from Andrew Abdo after that.
Oh, did he really?
Listen, it might be an in-house joke and a bit of banter between yourself and Cameron, but we prefer you not do that to your players.
Just on that, look, obviously you've got a great relationship with Bellyache. You played with him for years. He looks like such a hard man, but great players keep coaches in jobs. There's no question about it. And he had some great players come through, but great coaches keep players in the game.
Yes,
absolutely. You guys played forever together. The big three down there at the time, and what you went through. What do you like as a man just away from footy?
Yeah, you know what, Matty? He's very sort of very casual about the things he does in his normal life. To be honest, he doesn't have a lot of spare time because he puts so much time and effort into the footy side and his players, which is why you see the Melbourne Storm roll out pretty much every year, every game they play, and they're well prepared. But look, he's a nice guy. Loves going to cafes, relaxing days, having a coffee. Loves going to the beach. Just everyday normal stuff. He's not too bad at his golf when he gets time to play as well. But yeah, the side of Craig, I guess most people don't get to see is his caring side.
Yeah,
and particularly of the players in his squad. I think that's one of his best attributes is that he cares about the person first before the player. I think that's really why he gets the best out of all of the people that walk through the doors and play in his footy side. So, look, he's many people say that he's the greatest coach of the last 20 years. We've had some wonderful coaches in our game over that time, but I might be a little bit biased because I was there for so long with him. But I think he'll go close to being the best coach we've ever seen in our sport.
Yep. I agree. And of course, the documentary March 9, Inside the Storm. I mean, you'd be intrigued about that documentary, even though you know what his coaching style's like.
Yeah.
When you were playing, would you been happy for a camera crew to follow the whole year, or was it happening when you were playing?
No. So this was after I'd retired. So I think this has been sort of filmed for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And having worked with Channel 9 commentary team, I've seen the sort of the cameras following the squad around and Craig around. At the different venues where, I was covering the Storm matches. So, I don't know if I would have liked that Sats.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, I felt like when we're having meetings and when I was talking as captain of the side, I wanted that to be in-house. I wanted that to be private.
Yeah.
Whereas, and I know, like, I completely understand that, Craig has last say on what is aired. It'll be edited. But, I think to get the true sort of reflection of who Craig is as a person and as a coach, you probably can't edit it too much. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe I would have been against it, but Craig being the boss, if he said I'm doing a doco and they're following me, then they would have done it anyway.
exactly.
They would have he would have told me it's just happening.
We talked about this before. Clubs are so protective of their IP. They're so protective of because they all think they've got the secret. Well, Melbourne probably do have the secret. That's the reality. So every club will be waiting with bated breath for this documentary to come out. I'd like to know, like, are we going to find out something that we don't already know?
Well,
Because it seems
I don't know,
it's
mate.
hard work, good people, good work ethic, train hard.
Well, it surprised people how much he cares because probably the reality is a lot of people have this perception about him.
Yeah. Well, they just see that they see the blow-ups, right?
Yeah.
And they see it as a bit of maybe comical these days when they show it on TV. But that is the reflection of him caring for the footy side, right? And he has spoken to us about that, and this is going back a little bit, right? Of his blow-ups and all that sort of stuff. And he said it was because he knows that we can do better than what we've just given on the footy field, right? And that's why the blow-ups come, because he sees it at training, he sees it in other games, and he understands what our capabilities are, or his players' capabilities are. Mate, I'm not sure if there'll be any secrets that come out, Matty. I'm not sure, mate, because like you said, and you're 100% right. There's no when people ask me about it, like, why are you blokes so good down there, and why does Melbourne? Why are they continually sit at the top of the table, and they're playing in finals football every year, and they always win their round one matches, and why are they so well prepared? Well, it's all through hard work, and it's all through understanding. The individuals understand their role, and they worry about going out to do that, and they don't worry about anything else.
Just on that, hard work, work ethic, all that sort of stuff. What about Craig's ancillary staff? Like, how important are they to him?
Huge, huge, because it allows him to just focus on his role, right? I think in other organisations, I think the head coach. Look, there's plenty on the plate for all the head coaches involved in the NRL with various things, with addressing board members, dealing with corporates, media, CEOs, all this different stuff. Whereas, the staff members that are surrounding Craig, they take a lot of pressure off him. So I remember when he first started, he just said, "Listen, I just want to coach a footy side, right? That's my job. I'm paid by the Melbourne Storm to coach this team and have them prepared as best as I can, and I just want to do that." He'll do other things here and there, but most of the time it's really just being out in the field with the players and having one-on-one meetings with individuals about things that they're doing well or things that they can improve. Outside of that, he puts trust in the high-performance managers, the strength guys, the fitness guys, all the GPS people, the high-performance people in their departments, and obviously Frank Panissi too, right? As footy manager, general manager of football operations, he does a lot of the heavy lifting around Craig as well.
So when you talk about life after Craig, and who knows when he steps away, but when he finally steps away, I mean, Matt Tripp and his board will be so protective of that asset and wanting to try and everything just to continue to hum along without too many changes. So does the next appointment, Cam, do you think it has to come from someone inside or someone who knows the club? Or do you think they would possibly go outside?
Well, I'm not sure, right? Because there's only two ways they can go: is they can stay within, or have someone come back who has been at the Storm and knows exactly what the organisation's about, or say, right, okay, the Craig Bellamy era is over.
Yes,
we now bring in a new coach with no ties to the Melbourne Storm, and we just start again. I'm not too sure which way they'll go. I think. And this is no sort of scoop or headline or anything like that, but I think the ideal person that the club would want would be Billy Slater, right? He's shown that he's very capable, but I just don't think that would happen. He's got too good of a setup with his commentary with Nine. He's got his business with his horse breeding and all that sort of stuff. And Billy stated himself, he's coaching State of Origin as well, but he stated himself that coaching an NRL side is not on his radar at all at the moment.
Is coaches owning the salary cap, are they?
No,
there's a football cap.
There's a football cap.
Oh, money talks.
It does.
Money talks.
It does massively.
It's remarkable what happens down in Melbourne. The way players get in and they get better, all that sort of stuff. We all see it from the outside. So many people are so intrigued to see to see this grow. When you showed up to Melbourne as a scrawny little, how old were you?
18.
18-year-old.
Yeah.
Could you imagine what was going to happen?
None of it. No, none of it.
Did you have like a premiership? I just want to win one premier. Like you go in there just trying to make it.
Well, that's the goal, right? You want to play one first grade game, then you want to play 50, and then once you get to 50, you want to play 100. When you played 100, you're like, well, I've got myself in here now. Like, what's the next step? Well, we want to play finals and we want to win grand finals. And it was a bit of a process for us, right? So Craig took over in going into the 03 season. So we went 03, 4 and 5, played finals every year, but we got bundled out in the second week of every final series until 06 come around, where it's sort of everything that we'd been working on with the way we wanted to play our footy, the way we trained, way we prepared. It just sort of it all clicked. You got to remember, like in 03 when Craig joined the club, it was around about the same time myself, Billy Cooper, Dallas Johnson, Jake Webster, Ryan Hoffman, all of these guys started our career. So we're just all
together.
Kids. Yeah, we're all kids, you know what I mean? So we were coming up against there were some really, really good footy sides in the comp around those years. Like the Dogs were good. Broncos were obviously fantastic.
Penrith won it right in 03.
You guys won the premiership. I don't know if Sats knows this, but we played Penrith twice in 03, beat them twice, and they won the premiership. So if we took something away from that year, we beat the premiership. We were unbeaten by Penrith.
When they got bundled out in the second week of the finals, we went to training the next day and went, phew. Melbourne.
You finished ahead of them, but
they had our measure.
Side.
They just had our measure every time we played them. We thought we were so happy that they got bundled out. But early on, was it your first or second year? Did Craig Bellamy have to sort of stand you up a little bit and talk about you? Is it changing some things in your?
Yeah, no. So that was leading into that season.
Okay.
I'd made my debut the year before in 02. So Craig wasn't at the club at the time. Mark Murray was the coach. But then we come into that season. The pre-season for 03, and I was getting through our pre-season training and our running and all that sort of stuff, and just really
coasting.
Yep. Yeah, good word, coasting. And I remember we did a hill session at Studley Park. We used to go there a couple of times a week. The current boys go there probably once a month now, and they whinge. Crazy, soft.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at one of the and that session, we're all sort of sitting down and having trying to recover a little bit because it was a tough session. Anyway, he said, "Oh, can I just grab you for 5 minutes?" I said, "Yeah, no dramas." And I went over and just had a chat to him. He said, "Mate, look, how do you think you're going?" And I said, "Oh, I think I'm training okay. Like I'm making all my times and whatnot." And he said, "Yeah, no, that's fair enough." He said, "But I just think you're training within yourself a little bit." And I said, "Oh, okay." Because coming through junior footy and all that sort of stuff, I'd never really
been pushed.
Been pushed.
Yeah.
Been pushed by anyone, right?
Good. Yep.
And then so. Yeah, he just said, look, good players, right? Good players, that's what they'll do. They train within themselves and train where they're comfortable and they're happy and, they'll play 100, 150 games, if they stay fit and whatnot. He said, but the great players, they get uncomfortable. They're happy to be uncomfortable and really push themselves every time they get on the training paddock, every time they're out there running in the hills and in the gym and doing whatnot. They're striving to get better, and they do that by being uncomfortable. So the decision's yours. Do you want to be a good player or a great player? And then I sort of went away from that and sat down and had to think about it and thought, well, if I'm doing this, then I want to do it to the very best of my ability, and let's just see what happens. So I look back on that moment and I just think, well, if he doesn't pull me aside there, right? Because he's probably been watching me for a few weeks, just thinking, okay, like he's getting his times and whatnot, but
he saw more.
He's got more left in the tank. If he doesn't have that chat to me, like who knows what happens in my career?
Well, I've always thought when I've watched you play, I've never seen you sweating, flustered. I think you played for 440 games within yourself. Yeah. Have you ever seen him blowing?
Matt, I agree.
Mate, you always got time to stand up to a ref and have a bit of a crack. Mate,
are you serious?
Maybe you were training hard. Bellyache just didn't realise how
Yeah.
how well you cover
Yeah.
it.
Never tore a hamstring.
No.
Never popped a shoulder.
Mate, I didn't
Yeah.
tear a hemi because I wasn't fast enough. I wasn't fast enough.
Okay, now the reason why you're here because you've teamed up with the team from Sports Pick.
Yeah.
And so the best way to enhance our listeners' NRL experience is by downloading the Sports Pick app, and you can jump on there and find your best local club or pub to watch your side live as the season's about to kick off. What's your local?
My local pub.
Yeah, Wallaby Bob's. No, you're up that way.
You know
aren't
what? The Wallaby.
The Wallaby.
Mate, get to the Wallaby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good joint.
Yep.
That's my dad's best mate's old man owned it back in the day. So
Yeah,
really?
we used to- yeah, Danny McMaster's
He
old
did
man.
too, yeah.
yeah.
The
We used to hang out
comedian.
at
You
the
used to
tables
sneak in
and-
there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it was
Really?
bad.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
times at the Wallaby.
Yes.
Plenty of good memories.
Okay, so round one, NRL tips. So listeners, get your pointy tips out. Sportspig also running a huge NRL tipping comp with $70,000 worth of cash prizes. And you can start tipping today by downloading the Sportspick app, wherever you get your apps from. Just very easy to find. So let's go through round one. Vegas. Would you have liked to go to Vegas
And play?
and play?
Oh, I reckon it would have been good.
Be fun, eh?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how these teams,
Back up?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had a bit of a hangover, didn't they?
They all struggled early.
Mm.
Two of them obviously come good, but yeah. But looking at these teams, you'd expect Penrith to be up and about again.
Yep.
I know they've had some changes. Sharkies the same. Warriors the same with a couple of inclusions. And Raiders, the same as well. I think they would have been really disappointed with their season last year. So as long as they stop blowing each other.
Doesn't help.
Your former teammate, Danny Williams, he wanted to fight with everyone.
Oh, mate.
Wow. His own teammates,
true.
strangers in the
True.
street.
Yeah.
Okay, Raiders versus Warriors on Sunday morning. Our time.
Yeah. I think Warriors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do too.
Are you,
I'm
Yeah,
going
you're on
Raiders.
them?
I'm
Oh, yeah.
going Raiders.
Oh, yeah?
Mate, I'm just loving Ethan Strange. I
Mm.
think he's a gun.
Got a young
K.O.
team.
don't know
Weeks.
years. Yeah.
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 Panthers
Speed.
versus Sharks. You think Sharkies?
Was it Strange that just got engaged?
I don't
Did
know.
anyone see that?
No.
There was something. I'm sure there was something on Instagram.
Oh,
Over
really?
in Vegas?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, in front of the Bellagio, I think.
No way.
Oh, stop.
Oh,
What?
come on.
Check it out.
I'm-
Really?
I'm going
Wow.
for it.
Wow.
Oh, well, no better place to do it, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. On the NRL's
Yeah,
NRL's
exactly,
dime as
yeah.
well.
Exactly. Free trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
May as well propose.
Panthers over Sharkies.
I think so.
Adam Fanua-Blake, do you think that's probably the X factor they need?
Yeah,
Yep.
and he looked pretty sharp through the
Looks
trials.
lean,
eh?
doesn't he? Yeah.
he looks fit.
I'm obviously going to jump on the Sharks there.
Yeah.
But I'm yet to be sold on Penrith being the Penrith they were without Luai and Fisher Harris.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Just two
I
huge-
agree. They're big outs.
Big holes to fill.
Big outs.
Big holes.
Yep. And the week after, of course, everyone else has got the bye. So we head back into the remainder of round one back here in Australia. And the Roosters host the Bronchies at Allianz on Thursday, March 6th.
I reckon Broncos. I reckon they'll want to make a statement straight up.
They looked quick,
And
Yeah.
big.
mass. What are they, Brendan
Mate,
Takula?
lean and fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And particularly in that first trial they played. far
Yeah.
out.
I think, a lot's been said about, Madge going there and all
Yep.
that sort of stuff and training hard and all that. I think, like he spent a bit of time in Melbourne.
He did too,
right?
yeah.
So he learnt that sort of, that mindset that Craig had with, preparing for round one.
Yep.
Not just, let's just get ourselves ready to go and we'll build into the season. That they'll be ready to go early doors.
Just on that, there was a bit of murmurs in the media about a few Broncos players complaining because training's too hard, and you see stuff that's gone at the Bulldogs, and does it? I mean, Melbourne were renowned for how hard you trained.
Yep.
Do you shake your head when
I
you
do.
hear?
Matty, I
I'm
do.
just like, do you want to be good? Do
Yeah.
you want to be really like?
Yeah.
It hurts.
It does, mate. It does. Like if you want to be the best you can be, well, you're gonna have to go through some pain.
Yep.
You're gonna have to go through some hard
Suffer.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to suffer, mate.
Yeah.
You have to. And you sort of, anyway, it's just. Anyway.
Back in our day.
We're just some
we had
old
to carry
disgruntled
goats.
players.
Was it Bell?
On our back.
Wasn't it you guys wanted to do a swim session one day and Alex Corvo went to Bellamy and Bellamy goes, last time I checked, you didn't win a comp swimming laps.
Yeah. So we went and ran for 3 hours.
Going to the tar. Yeah. West Tigers up against the Knights on Friday night at Campbelltown.
What's this? Is Luai hasn't played a trial, has he?
Hasn't.
Is he fit or?
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, you know what? I might go West Tigers.
Yeah, I'm jumping on the
I reckon
Tigers.
there's going to be a big crowd.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Big,
Absolutely.
big crowd.
Yep.
So I'm going to go Tigers there.
Bunnies been
Oh,
crucified.
Jesus.
What, Cody Walker looks like he'll miss.
Yeah.
So Latrell Mitchell will definitely miss.
Campbell Graham out.
And also Cam Murray.
Cam
Season.
Murray.
Dolphins, Bunnies. I like what the Dolphins are throwing up.
Yep, Dolphins, mate.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
That's at Suncorp on Friday.
Yep.
Dragons against the Doggies at Netstrata.
Oh, this will be a
Jubilee.
real good
Yeah.
one. Real good one. For me, I think this will be a huge year for the Dogs. Huge year for
Yeah,
the
I'm
Dogs.
with you there.
And I think
I'm excited for them.
they'd want to get away to a good start. I'm tipping Doggies.
Yep.
I'd love to see them go a step further this year. I know they played a little bit of finals, one game last
Yep.
year.
Yep.
I reckon they want to go deep into finals this year, so I'm going Dogs.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Four Pines, which of course is Brookvale. Manly up against the Cows. I don't know where the Cows are at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They showed some
Well,
decent form against Short Blokes on the weekend.
They
but,
beat Storm.
I mean,
there wasn't many big
undermanned.
names.
No.
Yeah, wasn't many big names. Look, I'm going to go Manly just because it said Brookie.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Round one, perfect records, 2003. Maybe no Pappy because they got the bye the following week. Panthers round 3. Now Suafalongo's got a tightness in the hamstring, not actually a torn hamstring.
Well, he'll play then.
So Storm host the Eels.
And is there question marks on Hughes? Or has
Jerome
Bellamy come
Hughes,
out
yeah.
and said...
No, apparently
he'll
he's going to be
play.
right, but there's concerns about
Shouldn't you
calf.
be giving us that
Yeah,
information? Don't you have the wire?
No, I think there was a bit of calf issue going on. So, knowing the Storm, knowing their medical staff, like they'll be very precautious in their approach.
Yep.
And understanding that, like it's round one. But I do know that Craig would love to win it and keep that record intact. And all of his players will want to be involved in a win too. Jason Ryles coming back.
I know.
Head coach of the
Interesting.
Eels
Yeah.
against his old side. So.
Yeah, he'd know. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, and I got no doubt that it will get mentioned in the build-up.
Yeah.
It won't be the sole focus.
No.
Because he would have gone in there and changed a lot of things. With the way they want to play their football and the way they want to go about their season. But I reckon it will be mentioned. There's no doubt saying, "Hey boys, I don't see this as a burden. Playing Storm round one, see it as an opportunity, to be the first team to knock these blokes off in round one." I'm going to go Storm though.
Yep.
Obviously my old team, and I think it'll be a great game, close one.
Well, Big Nelson, but also the extra punch of Stefano, Utoikamanu.
Yep.
It's good.
Well, Nelson's
it's a
not
good
back till
signing. isn't it?
round
Yeah, he's still
4,
suspended,
round
but when
4.
they're back together, it's a
it's
good
gonna be
1-2
great.
punch,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Oh, imagine standing in front of that Sats.
Yeah, it's frightening.
Yuck.
Yeah, they're so big now.
Matty?
That's why
The
you go out
players are so
wide.
big. Yeah,
Turn out wide.
exactly.
I don't do that stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. NRL or AFL stakes are high. $140,000 in national prize pools. Get tipping with Sports Pick and turn your footy knowledge into big wins. Cam, thanks for joining us for Sports Pick.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.